Johnny here for Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Maverick news and Bronco news, and I'm putting them together because I think there's a lesson that can be learned from what's going on with the Bronco hardtop news. Because right now there's Maverick news that people are getting pretty worked up about. We're going to be covering the good, the bad, and the ugly of this news. And what's going on with the Maverick is that people are worried that there aren't going to be any hybrid Mavericks on the road, and they're really speculating anywhere from, hey, don't worry about it, there's going to be a whole bunch, there's no issue at all the way to, if you order a hybrid, you won't have one for years to come. And that's the ugly part of all of this. There's a bit of emotion obviously in all of this, and I'm here to be helpful and to really look at things from, as an objective observer in all of this. I've got skin in the game. I've got a Bronco on the way, and I have a Maverick on order that I haven't gotten a build date for yet. So really, I hope to, shed some light on all this, help you out, and, let's just put the pedal right to the metal. As promised, we're going to be covering the good, the bad, and the ugly, because like with any news, there's a story to, there's two sides of a story, and I want to cover both sides of the story. And we're just going to put the pedal to the metal and jump right into this subject. So the Bronco, the 2021 Ford Bronco, is finally bringing us some really excellent news. This is really impressive on Ford's part. They paid for the retooling at the Webasto factory, and the retooling, what has it been, 3 or 4 weeks, and there's already tops that have been produced and tested. It just looks like the only test that's remaining, from what I can tell from the quotations from Mark Gruber. I hope I pronounced that right, but it looks like the only test that remains is some severe water testing. But he said that these tops are going to be ready to be shipped out by the end of the week. So that's incredible news, and it's a lesson to be learned. If you're here for the Maverick news, stay tuned. Watch through the Bronco news, because it's a good lesson. It's a really good lesson, and it'll give us an idea of really how to react with what's going on with that, apparent internal Ford memo saying that, there wouldn't be, people took it as there wouldn't be any hybrids built. And it doesn't, even no matter how you read it, I may not be wearing my glasses, but even without my glasses, I can still read pretty decently. So, basically what it comes down to is, I've got chill. I put ice in my drink, and I've, taken a bit of time before making this video, really thought through all of it to really make sure that I give the most helpful and objective, info possible, because there's two sides of a story. So you've got some people saying, hey, this is only going to be an issue for 1 week. You've got other people saying it's not an issue at all, the memo, it's made up. And then you've got other people saying, hey, it means you won't get a hybrid for years to come. And they're just completely, that's the ugly side of all of this. And really being overly optimistic and overly pessimistic, that's the ugly in the news. But let's get to the good news, then we'll cover a bit of the bad news, and we'll finish off with the ugly. But the good news, this is incredible. Within 3 or 4 weeks, Ford retooled a factory and is going to be ready to ship out these tops by the end of the week. Little mixed information saying, from Mark Gruber, I don't understand. It seems like he's been quoted for saying that the tops have been tested, but then also saying that the tops still need to be tested for, severe weather conditions, water conditions. I have the exact quotes right here. It's testing has been completed, said Mark Gruber, who's the Ford Bronco marketing manager. He told that to the Free Press on Tuesday, so yesterday. And also that he was also quoted for saying, we're ramping up production of the new roof and waiting for those units. There's no bad news in all of that. They got this done. What does this mean? How's this going to affect people? I think it's actually really positive, because I believe it's Premier Drum off Bronco 6G commented, and he's, so far, I have never found him saying something that's not the case, so I have no reason not to take his info, and I do hope that info, that from my recollection, did come from him. Pretty sure it did, but that's that. Whatever you want to call the Broncos sitting outside, you can call them Dirt Mountain, you can call them the Sand Lot, Mud Mountain, whatever you want to call them. It seems like people are going to be making special edition badges for all this. I'd say try all those names. But it's, within 20 days, it's believed or speculated that all of those will get done, as well as the ones already delivered. And there's really interesting, news behind this when we do a little bit of math. And of course, when we do a little bit of math, I need to try to look at my notes without my glasses. So give me a little chance here. Have a little patience. If there are, let's say 3,000, there's 2,200 at the Sand Lot, Dirt Mountain, Mud Mountain, whatever you're calling it. There's 2,200 out over there. And let's say there's another 800 hardtop Broncos already on the road. This would make for 3,000. And if you're, if you've got 3,000 and you're getting them done within 20 days or less, that means they're able to produce about 150 a day at Webasto. Now, if there's, let's say there's 4,200 hardtop Broncos out there and at Dirt Mountain or the Sand Lot, that would mean that they're doing a little over 200 a day. I'd put my money on this. I think Webasto is going to be able to do 200 a day. If there are a total of, let's say, 6,000 out there, well, then that would be really impressive. But I'd say 200 a day makes sense. That would be 600 a month, which is really great, because at 600 a month, heck, we have most of September left, all of October and November. If they're going to be able to produce 16,000 hardtops, and even if there's 6,000 already existing Broncos that need hardtop replacements, that leaves 10,000. And first edition Broncos, they promised they'd make all of them. So obviously in 2021, so obviously that's a priority. And if there's 7,000 of them, that leaves about 9,000 hardtops for people who've already received VINs. And who knows, maybe it'll be more than just people who've already received VINs. Now, of people who've already received VINs, obviously, Ford's going to be working hard for people who can't switch to a soft top. Just keep that in mind. So if you're a two-door, you're probably going to be getting some good news. And if you're a wild track, well, you're forced to hardtop, so you're probably going to be getting some good news. So in all of this, this is fantastic news. Ford's going to be able to service not just the first edition customers, but I really do believe, with a little bit of math that I'm working on, I'm sure that they're doing all the first editions as they've promised, but I'm pretty sure they're going to get some two-door clients in and some wild track clients in, and also some hardtops from, Outer Banks and whatnot. And I can tell you that I have a friend who has an Outer Banks with a hardtop, and it's a four-door, so it's not as if he's in that category where he has to. And currently he's sitting at a November 1st build date. So fantastic news. And I think that, the Maverick group who follow my channel, I think we can learn from this, because the ugly behind internet news is sometimes people are really, they completely freak out, and they thought if you had a hardtop, it meant you're not going to get your Bronco for 3 years. And here we have it. Ford found a solution. Now let's talk about that Maverick news. Now I just want to cover, just before jumping into the Maverick news and putting the pedal to the metal, really important piece of information to cover for anyone who's got their Bronco already produced. So there's 2,200 of you out there. What's really cool is Ford has promised to inspect them to make sure that the quality's still there. They'll change parts. Now let me just quote directly Mark Gruber. He said that we've started the roof replacements on the hardtop. We'll be continuing to ramp that up to replace the roofs on vehicles currently being held needing the new roof. Also mentioned that he said, shortly we'll be starting to send the new roofs out to dealers for those vehicles that have already been delivered. We expect to be shipping the roofs and the Broncos with the new roofs within the week. And then he also said that the only delay is the comprehensive inspection of those Broncos at, whatever you want to call it, the Sand Lot. I like the term. Which is great, because if they're shipping out the hardtops to already existing Broncos that are on the road, this gives them time to be inspecting these Broncos on the lot and replacing, any parts that might need replacing because they've sat for for either a month or several months, maybe even as early as since mid-June is possible. He also mentioned that we'll do a water test on the new roof as well. So, and finishing off with, we'll make sure they're ready for sale. So that's really cool. He says the roof's ready, but also mentions that they just have a little bit of a water test to do. What's really cool is all the Bronco stuff got worked out. You got to have faith sometimes a bit in the system. These days we don't. And, you got to remember, what has made previous cultures great. And this is what I kind of studied in. It's kind of my little hobby that I like to look into, because I studied quite a while in in past civilizations. And, every great civilization really seemed to have this idea of civic duty, which means, you do what, you give a bit of yourself, your time, your effort to doing what's best for the community, for, your nation, your group. And being stoic means also, not completely flipping out about everything. And that's a bit of the ugly behind the news. Reading comments from what was going on with the potential Maverick hybrid news, there's some people that are saying, hey, this is a bait and switch. You need to, sue Ford. Oh, that hurts reading that. That's not at all being stoic. And, what makes, a nation the best nation on the planet? Well, it's the people, it's the citizens. It's that's what makes a civilization, and it's also what breaks a civilization. And I worry when we're at the point where, if you think that, there might be a hybrid issue with everything that's going on, if you really think there's a hybrid issue, why would we think it's a bait and switch? The EcoBoost is a fantastic motor, and it's only $1,000 more. I don't see any foul play in this. If you look historically at what's been going on at Ford in trucks, the more powerful engine has always sold very well. The EcoBoost 3.5 sells extremely well. Now the 2.7 liter EcoBoost also sells very well. And even in the Escape, people want that 2-liter engine. It's a fantastic engine. And on the Maverick, it's only $1,000 more. And don't worry, I will get to the speculation that front-wheel drive won't have a hitch anymore. That's completely wrong, and I've got the order guide to clear that up. But first, let's go into, the Maverick news about that, apparent dealer memo that went around that got people really worried. Okay, so the rumor, it comes from Maverick Truck Club that posted what we would call a dealer memo. And it said, hybrid orders will not be selected for scheduling until further notice. Now, people read too much into this. There is a whole lot of speculation and not very much objectivity. A lot of emotion, and being stoic is all about, controlling your emotions so that, the head can do what it's got to do. Sometimes you got to control that heart and the emotion. So people assumed anywhere from, this means there'll be no hybrids built, which is just not at all the case, to you won't have your hybrid for like a year or two. That's wild speculation, and it was based in absolutely no data whatsoever. So when you have a sheet on a dealer memo, whether we assume this is a real dealer memo or not, let's say we do assume it's a real dealer memo. If it says hybrid orders will not be selected for scheduling until further notice, this is normal. This is, you see dealer memos for F-150s saying, until further notice, there won't be any heavy duty payload package or maximum towing or power boost. We get dealer memos. Dealers get dealer memos all the time. And sometimes, it's an issue for a week and it's resolved a week later. Sometimes it just means that for the next, it could be a week. We don't know. Dealers don't know. It could be a month. It could be more than a month. Just means that at the moment, what the factory is going to be building isn't, let's assume that this dealer memo is real. It just means at the moment they're not going to be selecting and giving out VIN numbers for production to hybrids. And it could very well be a week. Just means that at a certain time in the future, the factory isn't going to be building Mavericks for, all we know right now is a week period, if that memo is real. So there is a lot of emotion going on with this. A lot of people worked up. Even people saying, I'm going to cancel my Maverick, or I'm going to switch to the 2-liter engine. It's all speculation, and we just need to, it's why ice was invented. It's to help us cool down. So sometimes some people just need, I think, maybe a little drink with a little bit of ice, cool down, and let the brain do the work. Because what's really going on with this? Well, Ford has actually answered in an email as of this morning that the Maverick Hybrid will be available at launch. They also mentioned both the Maverick Hybrid and EcoBoost will soon be on their way to dealer showrooms, and customers can currently order both trucks from their local dealer. And that's, from what I can tell, absolutely 100% true. Now, there'll be some people that will say, oh, so the memo wasn't real. No, it doesn't mean the memo wasn't real. There's nothing in what the spokespeople from Ford said that says the memo isn't real. And like I just mentioned, the memos are completely normal. And this is what's unfortunate. Whoever leaked this memo without providing proper background information, let people, let their imaginations get the better of them. Because whoever leaked this must see these memos, these types of memos, because we don't know if this memo is real or not, but they must see these type of memos on a regular basis. And it can change from one week to another. One week can say, hey, an F-150 with this on it won't be selected this week. And then next week it can say, hey, we're doing those. So it can be something that can be resolved within a week. Or it can be, if there actually is, if it's not just about placing a certain group of similar F-150s, Mavericks, Broncos, whatever it may be. When you run a factory, you want to do similar builds and just pass them through so that the speed of the factory goes quickly. I used to be a manager at a university, and makes me think of paperwork. You want to streamline things. So the factory wants to be streamlined. So sometimes for a week or two, it'll just naturally, even if there's no supply and demand issue, they're just going to want to push through a certain type of build. It helps things move along faster. So the person that shared this, who knows who they are, but whether they intentionally or unintentionally caused havoc, there is some havoc, and I hope I'm here to help. I certainly hope. It's always my intention that I'm here to help. So to put a little light on this, it's not that big of a deal as of now. And it's certainly silly to assume that, hey, they're not going to be building hybrids. We're all doomed because of a chip shortage, which I think is what the Maverick truck club, if I'm not mistaken, there is some speculation that this was due to chip shortages. I don't even see how that makes sense. If there's a chip shortage problem, it's not just going to affect hybrids. It's also going to affect EcoBoost, and it would affect really anything that's similar. So it would affect Escape hybrids, and there's no added information to, really support that thesis. If you were to say, hey, guess what? The Escape hybrids have the same issue. Well, then maybe it's a particular chip made for this type of unit, but it could also mean it's the battery. It could mean it's the electric motor. Really, we're going to find out, because I've got skin in the game. I said it at the beginning. I've ordered a hybrid Maverick, and I don't have a build date yet, and that's completely okay. It's normal. I'm going to get a build date about 30 to 45 days before my production date. And then from there, once it's produced, it'll probably take anywhere from 2 weeks to 30 days to show up at my local dealer. Now, what more can we say about this subject? Well, we can say that, I'm 100% positive. I've seen the Reddit list. Hybrids are getting built and I've speculated now for a few weeks. I have speculated that there may be a supply and demand issue with hybrids. It doesn't mean that if you order a hybrid, you're going to get it in a year. It just means that you might wait a little longer than a 2-liter turbo. And I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm saying that we need to keep an eye on this. I'll know, because if I get built in a build date for November, which I would get sometime in either late September or very early October. So I'll know and I'll have a really good idea, a very good objective idea by either the end of this month or early October. If I don't get scheduled in November, well, I'll start being able to more objectively say, I think there's, maybe, a 1 month delay if you order a hybrid. And that's all going to depend on supply and demand. Of course, Texas, Florida, and I can't remember what was the other area is, but basically very warm areas have ordered a ton of hybrids. But I think that there could very well be a bit more of a delay on the hybrid model, because who knew it would be this popular? Usually, if it's a truck, people want all-wheel drive and all the power they can get their hands on. And here we've got a whole lot, less power. The hybrid engine is still a very good unit. It's a powerful unit. I had an Escape for a week and a half, and then about a year ago, then I retest drove one in my recent video, and I really love that unit. It's really cool, and it's completely silent, and you're driving around. But who knew in a truck the hybrid would be this popular? And especially considering the 2-liter isn't very much of a price hike. It's $1,000, and the 2-liter has been a fantastically popular engine for Ford. It's really beloved. But let's put that to rest, and let's just talk now. Like I said, there was a whole, that was the ugly in all this, the speculation. I hope that I've put it to rest. If you have questions, that's what the comment section is for. I'll do my absolute best to get to you. Of course, I want to answer all the questions in the comment section, and I really appreciate that you trust me by asking me questions. Now, let's get to the whole tow package nonsense. Still in this morning's confirmation email, what's being put around the internet is who knows what's going on with the tow package for front wheel drive. And this gives me a headache. And this is what makes it so that, the rare night I actually get to be at home, I make a video because I just feel like I have to. I'm compelled to do it. I need to help when there's this much havoc going on. It's crazy. The answer is right in the order guide. So let's just review this very quickly and simply. That memo, real or not, that was shared, made people think that, oh my goodness, there's no longer a hitch for front wheel drive. And I thought this could be the case. So I did research. And what the research brought out is that the memo very clearly says front wheel drive and 53Q will no longer be available. So what have I done and what can you do? Google search it, Google it. Look at the Ford Maverick order guide. So the latest Ford Maverick order guide will show you what the 53Q is. It's not just a simple hitch, which would have affected basically anyone who has ordered a luxury package, no matter what the model. They all come with a hitch. So really everyone who has a front wheel drive that either ordered the hitch separately would be horrendously affected. Anyone who has a luxury package, like myself, would be really badly affected. It mean that I'd have to go change my complete order. And I was thinking, oh man, if this can't be true, because this would be disastrous. So I looked it up. Order guide, 53Q, what is it? It's the 4K tow package. That thing that for, several weeks I've been saying, or at least a couple weeks, I've been saying the 4K tow package will not be available for front wheel drive. Well, we've known this for a couple weeks. If you follow the channel, you've known this. I've talked about it. And what that dealer memo, true or not, said essentially is just that there won't be a 4K tow package for front wheel drive. We've known this. Come on, group. But unfortunately, whoever leaked that memo, true or not, didn't clarify, didn't do the homework, and got the internet in a buzz, got a lot of people waiting, anticipating for the Maverick, and I understand waiting for it with a lot of emotion. I'm excited. I can't wait to get the Maverick. But a little research shows that 53Q is the 4K tow package. So yeah, we've known this for weeks. It's not an issue. There's no headache here. I hope the fire has been put out. I hope I've been helpful. Please, if I have, like and subscribe. Help me back by liking, hitting the like button, and subscribing. You'll get more information. I'll always be here to, hopefully help you out. And you know what? It helps feed a poodle, and it will pay for those hopefully not Bronco repairs when I go off-roading pretty soon. It certainly isn't going to pay for that winch. I'm going to find a solution. But, you know, I have a whole list of accessories that I added on instead. I think I'm going to end up with about $1,500 easily of accessories from the Ford accessories webpage, because I absolutely love a whole lot of them. And you'll see that when the Bronco comes in. So please stay tuned. Thank you for your comments, and I wish you all more cars and more power. And I hope you get to put the pedal to the metal. And shortly, if everything goes well, I'll get to review and check out a Wrangler JK, so you can come along with my test drive so that we can then together as a group compare that to my brand new Badlands Bronco. Take care.